Thank you, Garrett. Are these young people amazing? Let's just give them a huge, huge round of applause. You know, you are truly great. As I look into your eyes, my heart sings. You really make our world so special and so unique. Why? Because of each and every one of your hearts. You are kind, you are caring, you show compassion, you use your values as a guide to lead your life and how to treat others. You address issues, as you heard today, that deal with the environment, poverty, the elderly. You use your passion for poetry, for dance, to change the world. You really are heroes. You are my heroes. Can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, a world filled with champions like these? What a world this would be. Please, champions, continue to do your service and make it a way of life, because in doing so, you will change yourselves in such powerful ways, but more importantly, you will add great meaning and purpose to your life, and you will make the world a better place. Let's take a moment right now, and I know that Ms. Nixon talked about this earlier, to look at the mentors and family members and teachers. Would you please stand so our champions can give you a round of applause? Family members, mentors, teachers, administrators who are here. Thank you. I have been so inspired by the work of all of the champions today and the 2,700 others that you join from the last 17 years. I learned from your strength, from your courage, from your insights about life. And as I sat here listening to each of your speeches, I was so deeply moved. To know what you know about life, and know it at this age, and to lead lives like this, let's give these speakers a huge round of applause. We all felt the love in your hearts and how you are taking a leadership role to change this world, because God knows we need people changing this world and making it better. Many people have supported me and Champions of Caring for so many years. I would like to take a brief moment to acknowledge them. David and Margie Rosenberg, if you could stand, please. David is chairman of our board, and without them, there would not be a Champions of Caring. Ed and Claire Newman. Ed and Claire, please, thank you for your love and support. Eileen Edmond. Margaret Moran. Julie Miller, our photographer. My daughter, Deborah Ryan, who inspires me, and my granddaughter, Becca. But if I might take a moment, I'd like to tell you where this all started, where I learned to live my legacy and why I started Champions of Caring. My legacy was started because of these three people. The woman on the end is my mother, Carola Greenspan. The woman in the middle is my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, Golda, and the man on the end is my father. As many of you know, my family were Holocaust survivors. My mother is the sole survivor of a family of 65 people, and tonight I would like to dedicate this ceremony in her memory. My mother taught me a great deal about life, because you see, when she was 15, younger than some of you in this room today, she was put into a ghetto in the city of Lodz and then into a concentration camp called Auschwitz. While she was there, she took care of young children who were orphans, because as she said to me many times, just because my life was in trouble didn't mean that I should not give back to others. This hope and inspiration from my mom really helped shape me. My dad worked for Oskar Schindler, and I had the pleasure of visiting Parkway Northwest and speaking to the students there about Schindler's List. Unfortunately, my father did not get on that famous list, but instead was put on a death march. But while he was on this march in the freezing winter of Poland, he carried his cousin who was dying on his back to save his life. My cousin is now 95 years old and is so grateful that my father had reached out. My grandmother was an amazing woman. When she was in Auschwitz, she found these berries growing in Auschwitz, and when she crushed them, they made a rouge-like substance. And every morning, she would rouge the cheeks of the women in her barracks so they could live for yet another day. So these people taught me about giving back. They taught me that silence and indifference is a disease that must be combated, that the greatest gift we have is our freedom, and that we're so lucky to live in this incredible country, that we all must be proud of who we are and be true to ourselves, and that we must stand up and speak out in what we believe. And as my mother would always say to me, a head without a heart is dangerous. My dear friends, it's not enough just to be smart. You have to take that wisdom and combine it with your heart the way you're doing. So I started Champions of Caring 17 years ago. And these are some of the amazing young people that have come through. Terrell, who's now 27 years old and was honored in 1997, decided to start a not-for-profit program to match up African American and Latino role models with young men in his community. Nathan, we're a little bit off the screen here, Alan, is that all right, or we're good? Nathan, who was very involved with the military. He helped raise funds and awareness about officers and military men who were injured in service, and he worked very hard for Fisher House. That was his passion. And Maddie decided that she needed to help the Save Darfur Foundation, and she coupled her love for fashion to create t-shirt designs that said, "Hate is out of style, save Darfur." And Raul, who said to me one day, "You know, Miss Barbara, the old white people in my neighborhood don't really like me because I'm Latino, but I want to change that around, and I'm going to use my salsa dancing to do it." And he got 20 of his friends. This is S.A. Douglas, and I know we have some folks here today from S.A. Douglas who might remember Raul. He went into the senior center with 20 guys. They taught the senior salsa, and they created wonderful relationships. And Erica, who felt that she needed to use her passion for photography to take pictures of her trip to Mali, Africa, and educate her friends about real poverty and why we need to help others. And finally, Noreen, whose parents were involved in the Cambodian genocide, who decided that because she's so privileged now to live in this country, she should raise funds and create a computer-friendly eco-lab in Cambodia. So, you see, this is important, to find your passion, to look for what's in your heart and make a difference the way these young people have and the way you will. And if any of you out there are grandmothers like I am, the greatest joy is then to transmit this to your grandchildren and teach them that it's never too soon to start caring. So what is your formula? I'd like all of you to think today about your passions and your interests and your skills and what you can do to create change. My mom used to come and speak at these award ceremonies for the first 10 years of Champions of Caring. And I'd like to end with the words of my mother. This is what she said to a group of champions about 7 years ago. "Hate is a disease that can be easily transmitted. I appeal to you, the young generation, to be on your guard. You hold the key to the future. You must fight for justice and be vigilant citizens." Thank you. Thank you so much. I started Champions of Caring 17 years ago with this recognition program and then with the Ambassadors of Caring Leadership program. But one night I woke up at 2 in the morning and said, "You know what, Barbara, you're missing the boat here. We must teach this in schools." And I approached then Superintendent of Schools, David Hornbeck, and asked if we could teach this kind of curriculum that marries character education, teaching young people to care, to be compassionate, and have them create a culture of caring in their classroom. And then also teaching them how to do service, teaching them the skill sets and the tools to really address important societal issues. And Mr. Hornbeck gave me permission to do this. And I remember the first day we were rolling out our program 15 years ago. It was Simon Gratz High School. And it's a day I'll never forget because I met one of the most amazing teachers in the school district of Philadelphia. And we have had a friendship for so many years. We have presented at so many different conferences, national ones, local ones. We have trained so many teachers together. Her name is Rachel King Davis. Rachel King Davis is amazing. I once went to Simon Gratz, and I brought 3 administrators from the school district with me. And we're walking down the hall, and it's sort of quiet in every classroom. And then you hit this one classroom, and there's this energy and this noise. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I hope things are okay in that classroom. I'm coming with these big wigs from downtown. And we walk into Rachel's classroom, and she's dealing with an ethical dilemma around a topic that's really tough, snitching. Remember this, Rachel? You saw someone steal something from someone's store, and now the police are asking you, what did you see? And every kid in that room said, I'm not snitching. And Rachel, you kept escalating it and escalating, and the energy was amazing because she is an extraordinary individual. Please give a big round of applause as I welcome up to this stage Rachel King Davis. Robin. It doesn't get better than this lady, let me tell you. Now, Robin is one of the students from Parkway, and she's going to introduce our other guest.
Okay. It is also my great pleasure to introduce Principal Ethel McGee. Without her support of the program, we would not have the opportunities that we currently have. Principal McGee is committed to urban education and the type of educational opportunities that empower students and open their eyes to the world. She grew up in a segregated South where African Americans were denied opportunity to quality education. At a young age, she learned to garner her strength and ask questions and follow her heart. Please come up, Ms. McGee.
When Rachel left Simon Gratz, she went to Parkway Northwest School for Peace and Social Justice, and she called and said, can I bring Champions of Caring to the school? I said, are you kidding me? Of course. Thank you, Ethel McGee, because under your guidance and leadership, your school is amazing. I come there frequently, I speak to your students, I see what they've done, and I'm just so proud to know both of you and know what the values you're teaching your young people. Parkway Northwest students, stand up for a second, please. Let's give them all a big hand. Rachel?
Thank you.
Thank you for being so outstanding, Ethel.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you.